Okay, so we get together every day to practice, to spend 15 minutes practicing positivity. These sessions are Monday through Friday, 12 to 12:15, and then we'll do Q&A after the actual practice is over. Everyone is welcome, so if you have friends, roommates, sisters, brothers, parents, whoever you think might benefit from this, please invite them as well. And the main idea here that I'll keep re-emphasizing is we are growing our brain tree, right? We are intentionally choosing to curate and cultivate certain parts of our nervous system that frankly enable us to feel happy and healthy and well. And those of us that struggle with anxiety and depression or PTSD, know that like when we're stuck in those states of mind and the emotions are running strong, it's really hard to extricate ourselves from that. So the idea is that with consistent ongoing practice, we can start doing this kind of magical, cool thing that happens to our brain here. We can turn temporary states into permanent traits. So by temporary state, I mean, the ability today, for example, we're going to stimulate a temporary state of gratitude. Now, I can't think of a single person that I know who wouldn't, who doesn't sit there and say, gee, I wish I had, I wish gratitude was an even richer, more sort of integrated part of my life, of my being. And so the way we do this is we repeatedly stimulate the neurology, the neural networks that give us this temporary experience of gratitude in this case. And then the more we do that, the more it becomes installed as a kind of permanent trait. So literally structurally and functionally, it gets integrated into the brain. So another way of saying this is we can grow our capacity for desired mental and emotional traits, right? So we get to choose which mental and emotional traits that we would like. And we grow that capacity by repeatedly, intentionally having repetitive experiences of the sort that we want. And the more we do that, the more those neural networks strengthen. This is fun. This is like one of the fundamental premises of neuroplasticity. Okay, so today being Thursday, we're going to do Thankfulness Thursday, and we're going to focus on gratitude. And let me just define gratitude before we actually get into it. So gratitude is the embodied experience that accompanies the awareness that we have benefited from someone or something through no doing of our own. So I've highlighted some of the words here because I think it's really important to understand. Oftentimes when I work with clients and I ask them, do you have a gratitude practice? And they say, yeah, and it basically consists of them just on a daily basis writing down like 5 things that they feel grateful for. So this is not what we're going to do here because it doesn't really have that way of doing it. I'm not saying don't do it, but it just doesn't really go deep enough to have that desired neurologic change. So the key words here are embodied, right? So we want to feel gratitude. We want to shift out of an intellectual, oh yeah, that was cool when that person did that to me. And you actually want to drop into the memory of really feeling it. And then you want to amplify your awareness that you're having this experience in your body. So really using your awareness or your attention skills to focus on, wow, this is what gratitude feels like in my chest and my belly and my fingers and so on, right? And then there's this sense that we have benefited, right? So something great has happened, something wonderful has happened, either by virtue of someone doing something or something just materializing, like the weather could be amazing or whatever it might be. And there's a deep understanding that it's not something that we did, right? We are absolutely the beneficiaries of this goodness that is happening to us. And we want to, the more we curate and cultivate this ability for us to take some time out on a regular basis and really steep in that experience of being aware of what it feels like to have this in my body, and noticing that it's something that's happening to me, not necessarily something that I've done. So the key here is, I want to give some sort of pro tips on, we're going to be writing thank you notes. And the question is, how do you write a thank you note that is sort of optimizing our neurologic activity, right? So we're doing this not because we just kind of want to crank through a gratitude note, but we're doing this because we really want to stimulate those parts of our brain and make some changes. So here's some tips. First one is list the facts. So when you think of the person that you are going to write this gratitude note to, start off literally just by observations around, like, oh yeah, when we were hanging out on such and such a date, we were hanging out in the living room doing this, and then at some point she said, hi Oli, would you like to do blah blah blah, right? So really zero in on the facts, because that helps to amplify the memory, the embodied part. I suggest getting personal, meaning focusing on a person rather than a thing. So a friend rather than the weather. And then the key here is to get specific, as specific as you can about, what exactly happened, what was said, what was done, and then noticing, the impact that it had. Go for depth over breadth, meaning rather than sort of running through a litany of, and then this person did this, and then they did another thing, and then they did that other thing, is kind of slow it down and say, I'm just going to zero in on this one thing that they did that impacted me. And I'm going to really go deep in terms of the nitty gritty details of how this, how this affected me. Again, this will help with the embodiment part. And then another trick here is this idea of subtraction. So you can also imagine yourself in a universe, and a parallel universe, in which this wonderful thing that benefited you did not happen. And you can go there, right? You can say, oh, had this not happened, my life would have been really different. And there's an element of gratitude that gets expressed by noticing that, this didn't have to happen, but it did. I'm benefiting from it. Oh, cool. I can see how my life is richer, or the inverse would have been poorer had I not had this experience. Okay, so let's get grounded, but make sure everyone has something to write. If you don't, go grab a pen and paper. And those of us that are ready, let's just take 60 seconds and get grounded. So notice your feet on the floor, close your eyes. Drop into your body. Notice your body breathing. Notice any sensations in your fingers, in your belly, in your neck and jaw. If there's any tension there, just see if you can intentionally notice that, and just try to relax a little bit more. And noticing cool air entering your nostrils, going down your windpipe through your throat, filling up your lungs, your shoulders rising and falling with each in-breath and out-breath, your chest expanding and contracting, and your belly. And just see if you can just be here now and allow whatever is going to happen next happen. Try not to censor yourself. Again, this is for your eyes only, and you get to choose whether or not you want to share this with anyone, but allow yourself to be free. So now I'm going to set the timer, and I invite you to write a thank you note to a friend. So this is someone that you like, someone with whom you get along well. And we're just going to spend about 3 minutes writing, using all those tricks that I showed you earlier. So think of a time when this friend did something for you that benefited you, and drop into the details, the nitty-gritty of what he or she did, and then get clear on how it impacted you, and allow yourself to really feel that in your body and express this to this person in the form of this thank you note. Don't overthink it. Setting the timer for 3 minutes, and go. Give it another 10 seconds and maybe just end this short note with just a straight up thank you, exclamation mark. And then we're going to do one more, just got a few more minutes. Oops. So the next journal prompt is a little bit trickier. Write a thank you note to yourself. So same rules apply. Think of a time when you did something that benefited you, that you appreciate was, took effort, took thoughtfulness, had a positive impact. And it's almost like there's two of you here, right? But so you can start writing that for 3 minutes and just play with this for a little bit. It might be a little difficult for some, but try it out. Okay, and I'm looking at the time, so that's actually going to wrap up a little bit early. So wrap up the last sentence that you are writing, and maybe also end that note with a thank you, exclamation mark. And we're not going to do this now, but I really suggest that when the session is over, that you read what you wrote, or maybe read it, give it some space and some time, and read it. Read it later today, and also remember that you can do this over again. You can do this as many times as you want, right? And so, in essence, what we're doing when we are, in order to feel gratitude and in order to be able to express it and articulate it in writing, in essence, what we're doing is we're activating the parts of our neurology that allow us to have that subjective experience, and we're doing so on demand. And that, in a very real way, sort of primes the pump, right? It helps us have this experience of gratitude just be way closer to the surface, and therefore much more accessible to us on a daily basis. So again, if any of you have any questions, we're going to switch over to Q&A now. If you want to stick around, you're welcome to. If you have questions, you can put something in the chat or raise your hand. Otherwise, plan on seeing you same time, same place tomorrow at noon. And we'll be doing something sort of same but different. Meanwhile, I have up here my scheduling URL. You can take a picture of the QR code, or you can just set something up. If you ever have any questions about whether it's ketamine or psychedelic medicine or any of these techniques that we're doing here. If you just want support, just set something up with me that's convenient for you, and let's chat. And then please remember, you can invite your friends and your family and coworkers and neighbors, and especially the grumpy neighbors that you think could probably use some positivity in their life. Invite them to this group. The more the merrier. So it's really open to anyone and everyone. And that's it for today. Hope this was helpful.